Hello everyone, my name is Sarathi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today there's a new box that has been leaked called Majestic Magic. And we'll go over it, but more importantly, a new Speedroid card is coming. Hi, Speedroid Clear Wing Rider! This is going to be part of the special bundle, and that's very exciting. So for those of you that don't know how this card works, Hi, Speedroid Clear Wing Rider is a level 11 synchro card. It is literally just a dual runner. It's hilarious. I imagine that when you're turbo dueling and you synchro summon this card, you simply hop off of your existing dual runner onto this dual runner, and then you just run monsters over yourself. And of course, your other dual runner crashes into a cabbage cart. Anyway, it requires one tuner plus one non-tuner wind synchro monster. So Speedroids will make this with a level 3 tuner like Speedroid Car Turbo, and a level 8 synchro monster like High Speedroid Kite Drake or Crystal Wing Sacred Dragon. Once returned during your main phase, you can roll a 6-sided die and shuffle wind monsters from your graveyard into your deck up to the result. Then you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number shuffled, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack for each card destroyed by this effect until the end of the turn. It's important to note that when you play High Speedroid Clear Wing Rider's effect, even if you roll like a 6, you will not get 3,000 attack points unless you actually have 6 targets to destroy on the board. So it's not the number of cards that you shuffle, it's not the result of the die roll, it is the number of cards you actually do destroy. During your opponent's main phase, as a quick effect, you contribute the Synchro Summon card to special summon up to two level 7 wind synchro monsters with different names from each other from your extra deck. So you could potentially summon both Wind Witch Winterbell and Clearwing Synchro Dragon, or you could summon Clearwing Synchro Dragon and Clearwing Fast Dragon if we ever get Clearwing Fast Dragon, or I don't know, what other targets do we have? Let me see. I don't think we have that many. Junk Berserker, Dragoonini Knight, Gorm Fabohar, which can send an equip card that is equipped to this card at the graveyard and target 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard and banish them. That's not good. Tengu the Winged Mayakashi, which only works if it's summoned from the graveyard. Alexander, which does nothing. Miss Lord is not quick effect. Trident is not a quick effect. Daigusto, not a quick effect. Symphonic Warrior Rocks is not in the game. Okay. Yeah, so basically it's just going to be Clearwing Synchro Dragon and Wind Witch Winterbell, which is fine. We're also getting a Lyrilisk Ensemble Robin, as I predicted in my Duel Links predictions video. That's hilarious that it's going to be a Limit 1 card, and I'm so glad that I just get this card by paying 950 gems. Let's go. Definitely going to make this card primarily. And then we're also getting 10 free packs from the new box. Cool. Alright, there's a free Rush Structure deck as well for Cyber Dragons. Definitely, since it's free, I'll pick it up. I'll let you know what I think about it. And let's go ahead and take a look at the box. So, for the URs, we have Wind Witch Icebell. Level 3 Spellcaster. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon one Wind Witch monster from your deck, but it cannot be tributed. You cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect except level 5 or higher wind monsters. If this card is normal or special summon, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So this is a major L to Queen of Birds specifically. Queen of Birds over there thinking that this could be some Morg support, but this card that you special summon cannot be tributed specifically for no reason other than that it can't be used in some Morg. Let's go. Alright. So, burning your opponent for 250 damage is fine, and then you also get to special summon 2 monsters. This doesn't use your normal summon. And what you're going to do with it, you special summon your Ice Spell, and then you're going to grab your Glass Spell, and Glass Spell is the super rare. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Wind Witch monster from your deck to your hand except Wind Witch Glass Spell. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except wind monsters. Which is fine, just get wind locked, but you can still play Speedroids. With your Glass Spell, you're going to add your Snowbell. If you control 2 or more wind monsters and no non-wind monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. A wind synchro monster that was summoned using this card's synchro material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So 3, 4, and 1, you synchro into Wind Witch Winterbell, you burn your opponent again. Then you can Synchro Summon Windwitch Winterbell with Windwitch Snowbell into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. You have now a negate that cannot be destroyed by card effects, and you haven't used your normal summon yet. Excellent. And it doesn't require a skill either, so pretty solid. All right, next up we have Sky Striker Ace Rose. So yet another Sky Striker UR. I believe this is the only Sky Striker card in the box. So Sky Striker players get dunked on. You are now the hero players. They have not released any hero cards since the Abyss Dragon box. They are instead milking Sky Striker players for all they're worth, which is funny. Rose is light as opposed to Ray's dark. If a Sky Striker Ace monster is normal or special summoned except Sky Striker Ace Rose, you can special summon this card from your hand. So that's any Link monster along with Ray. You just get to special summon this card for free. If an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone is destroyed by a battle or card effect because of your card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Then you can negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. So basically, if you pop your opponent's monsters with like Ice Dragon's Prison, or if you play your Afterburners, then Rose gets to come back and you get a free negate. This card is really good. The main problem with having two Sky Striker Ace monsters is that if you have both of them out, you can't just link them both off. Because if you do, you'll still have a Link monster in your main monster zone. So since you have to have no monsters in your main monster zone, Ray and Rose don't work too well together at the same time. So be careful with this. It will be very nice to have 3 more main deck monsters so that you don't brick nearly as often and you aren't nearly as reliant on your engage. But we'll see how much Rose adds to the deck. I think it'll be a good change for Sky Striker players, but the deck is already really strong, so adjusting it's going to be weird. Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. Level 5 Dark Dragon monster. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Gaia the Dragon Champion in its text. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Gaia the Dragon Champion in your monster zone. Negate the effects of face-up monsters your opponent currently controls with attack less than or equal to it until the end of the turn. So, this will let you draw your Spiral Fusion, and then it will also let you negate your opponent's monsters that have 5,600 attack or 5,200 attack or less when it's fusion summon. Excellent. This is very, very good. And since Windwitch and Lyrilisk are both in this box, I was going to go through this box 3 times anyway. So it's pretty exciting that the Gaia cards got released now so that I can build Gaia, because I already have Gaia. So I'm happy that all the Gaia cards are getting added to this box that I was already 100% going through. I'm very excited to build this deck. Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous. Level 4 light spellcaster. It cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck. You can only use the following effects of Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous once per turn. If a monster special summon from the extra deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. That is very, very strong. So your starter can special summon herself for free when you go second. Excellent. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Dogmatica card from your deck to your hand, except Ecclesia the Virtuous. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. So Dogmatica is a ritual deck. They do not play extra deck monsters. Instead, they use their extra deck as like a dumping ground. They play cards that let you send cards from the extra deck to the graveyard, and then a lot of times they will just put in cards in the extra deck that have effects that trigger when they go to the graveyard. Right now, the only one that we have is Herald the Arclight, which again would be very good for Dogmatica players, allowing them to get Ritual Search. But I don't believe there are any Dogmatica Ritual cards in this box. No, there are not. So, Dogmatica for the moment is probably going to be primarily like a control and stall deck, an anti-extra deck, which is fine. That's what it's meant to be. But you're not going to have a whole lot of power until you get their actual boss monsters. If you're interested in playing Dogmatica, you should definitely go into this box. But for right now, it's probably going to be a pretty mediocre deck. Titaniclad the Ash Dragon. I am so glad that Titaniclad is the UR and Fallen of Albaz is the SR. If you want to play Branded, it's going to be pretty cheap. Titaniclad is level 8, Dark Dragon, requires Fallen of Albaz plus 1 monster with 2,500 or more attack points. Gains attack equal to the combined original levels of the monsters used for its fusion summon times 100. So Fallen of Albaz is a level 4, Let's say that your opponent's monster is a level 8. That's going to be 3,700 attack points. Decent. After this card is fusion summoned for the rest of the turn, it is unaffected by the activated effects of any other monster special summoned from the extra deck. Excellent. Very, very powerful effect. You can use this to basically wipe your opponent's board, which is what it's for. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon one Fallen of Albaz or Dogmatica monster from your deck. That is also insane. Let's say that your opponent destroys your Titaniclad on their turn. You special summon Fallen of Albaz from your deck, and then you immediately trigger its effect, and you fuse off again, and you take their monster, and you make another Titaniclad. So this is going to be like a really annoying deck for people to deal with. When you deal with Titaniclad, all you have to do is make sure that you either banish it or bounce it. Do not destroy it. And that's all you got to worry about. Dogmatica Punishment. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, send one monster with an equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that monster. Until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only activate, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only activate one Dogmatica Punishment per turn. Okay, so this is why Dogmatica is in the same box as Titaniclad, because Punishment needs to have good targets. You basically send monsters from your extra deck to the graveyard with effects, and Titaniclad has an effect. So you can play Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous, mill your Titaniclad, then you can add Fallen of Albaz to your hand. You won't be able to use this effect right away, but you'll be able to normal summon Fallen of Albaz and use it as removal later. So for right now, since Branded doesn't have a good plan, they're going to primarily use Dogmatica Punishment to get access to Titaniclad with their Fallen of Albaz. So Branded Ecclesia is going to be what we're seeing Branded Dogmatica is what we're going to be seeing right now, which is the weakest form of Branded. So there you go. Lyrilisk Bird Call. Take one Lyrilisk monster from your deck, either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard, either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Then you can special summon a Lyrilisk monster with a different name from your hand. You can only activate one Lyrilisk Bird Call per turn. That's fantastic. Your primary target is going to be either the Cobalt Sparrow or the Sapphire Swallow. I don't believe either of those is in this box. Cobalt Sparrow is, I guess, a level up card for Rin, for Lulu, which makes sense. Is Sapphire Swallow not coming? Weak. I guess it's a rerun card. That's a big card to be missing. Okay. Well then, so for right now, you're going to add Cobalt Sparrow, and then if Cobalt Sparrow is special summon, you can add one level 1 winged beast monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, so since you don't have Cobalt Sparrow, you are not going to add it to your hand. You're going to send it to the graveyard, and then you'll revive it with either your Turquoise Warbler or your Barrel Canary. If you have Turquoise Warbler, you can just special summon Turquoise Warbler off of Bird Call to trigger its effect. If you have Barrel Canary, you will need to use Barrel Canary's own effect to revive it, and then I guess you'll special summon, like, I don't know, maybe Celestine Wagtail off of your Bird Call. It depends on what you have in your hand, but not having Sapphire is really, really bad for the deck. So we'll have to see how good Lyrilisk is for right now. Next up, we have Dark Magician, the Knight of Dragon Magic. Level 8 Dark Dragon Fusion monster. Requires Dark Magician plus a level 7 or higher Dragon or Warrior monster. So, Gaia the Fierce Knight or Curse of Dragons. 2900 attack, 2400 defense. If your monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing to your opponent. So, all your monsters have piercing. Once per turn, when your monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. That'll be halved, but now your monsters are all Flaming Men as well. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon both Dark Magician and Gaia the Dragon Champion from your hand, deck, extra deck, and or graveyard. Okay. I don't believe that Gaia fusion monsters are treated as Gaia the Dragon Champion while they are in the graveyard. I could be wrong about that, but let me check real quick. Did we not get another Gaia the Dragon fusion monster? I guess we already have them all. Let's see. One second. No. So these cards are not treated as Gaia the Dragon Champion while they're in the graveyard. So you will have to play the actual Gaia the Dragon Champion in your extra deck, which is fine. Yeah, so. Good times. Alright. This card is great. Next up, we have Book of Eclipse. Change all face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position. During the end phase of this turn, change as many face-down defense position monsters your opponent controls as possible to face-up defense position. Then your opponent draws cards equal to the number of monsters changed face-up by this effect. Now you might be thinking, that's an interesting effect. Book of Moon is good, so Book of Eclipse is probably better, but I don't want to give my opponent card draw. True. However, if you play this in Gaia, you are simply making all of your opponent's monsters in defense position so that you can pierce all of them. And then you just kill your opponent that turn. Book of Eclipse is still a good card, even if it gives your opponent, like, 2 card draws. But, in Gaia specifically, it will win you the game. So that's why it's in this box. Do not underestimate this card. As we get more and more rush effects, Book of Moon will become worse and worse. Book of Moon will stop being as powerful when the opponent is able to summon so many monsters at the same time. And, of course, Book of Eclipse also can prevent your opponent from link summoning or Xyz summoning by turning their materials face down. Even if they do draw cards during the end phase, if you stop them from winning the game, then that was worth it. So yeah, this is a great card. I'm shocked this is an SR. I'm shocked it took this long to come to Duel Links, to be honest. But I'm glad it's finally here, and I'm going to be getting 3 of them, and all of you should too. A Glass Spell, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Wind Witch monster from your deck to your hand, and you can't special summon monsters from your extra deck except Wind monsters. Great! You know, this is a good card. Play it in Wind Witch, play it in Speedroids. It's going to be fantastic. Time Thief Winder. We now get to the Time Thief cards, and none of them are ultra rares, which is great. Level 4 Dark Psychic Monster. You can detach 1 material from an Xyz monster you control to special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Time Thief card from your deck to your hand, except Time Thief Winder. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay, I do not know anything about Time Thieves except that they are bad. But I'm going to be going through this box 3 times anyway. There is a dedicated skill for Time Thieves, so I will build Time Thieves, and you guys will get a Time Thief deck guide and Time Thief replays. Don't worry. So, I don't know anything about them. I will figure it out. Win the Wind Charmer Verdict. 2 monsters, including a Wind monster, 1850 attack. You can target 1 Wind monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your zone this card points to. So this is just like the Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze, except it's for wind, and it's actually in a box that people don't have to pay for. If this Link Summon card is destroyed by battle, or is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while it's in the owner's monster zone, you can add 1 Wind monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So it's literally Wind discard effect on a monster that's a Link monster. Obviously, you can't play this in Speedroids with the Clearing Acceleration skill, but now that we have Wind Witch, we probably will just dump the Clearing Acceleration skill altogether. When the Link monsters for Charmers are typically only played when you need to Link climb, like, you can't really make good use of special summoning a random Wind monster from your opponent's graveyard unless you can specifically use it as Link material with Wind to go into like a Link 3. And right now we don't have any good Link 3s that you could do that with, except, I guess, Decode Talker. But Wind Witch locks you into Wind monsters, so you can't play Decode Talker. If we get Simorgh Bird of Ancestry, then it still wouldn't really work because you need at least 1 Winged Beast, and Wynn isn't a Winged Beast herself. But we would need like something that you could use Wynn for to really play her. I don't think that this card will see any play at the moment, but it's a good card, and getting 1 copy of it isn't going to be the worst for, especially, like, you're wondering what your target is. Your target for this card is going to be Droll. So when your opponent starts playing Droll a lot, you can just take the Droll from their graveyard and use it to extend, essentially. Droll and Lockbird, for those of you that don't know. That's a Wind hand trap that's been in the game for a while now. So, yeah. just hold out. Next up, we have Time Thief Perpetua. 2 Dark Psychic monster, requires 2 level 4s, 1900 attack, 2500 defense. Those are terrible stats. During the standby phase, you can detach 1 material from this card, target 1 Time Thief monster in your graveyard except Perpetua, and special summon it. As a quick effect, you can target 1 other Xyz monster you control, attach 1 Time Thief card from your deck to it as material. Okay, so you use Perpetua along with Redoer. Okay, that's fine. So I guess Perpetua's in defense, and Redoer's in attack. And you probably, like, detach a material from Redoer to summon Winder so that you can make Perpetua, and then Perpetua just puts more cards onto Redoer. That's okay, I guess. I don't know what the point of all this is, but we'll see. Next up, we have Dogmatica Floridus the Knighted. This is a light level 8. During the main phase, if a monster with special summon from the extra deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand as a quick effect. Then if you control another Dogmatica monster, you can negate the effects of one face-up monster on the field until the end of the turn. And when your Dogmatica monster declares an attack, you can make all Dogmatica monsters you currently control gain 500 attack. So any of your Dogmatica monsters can activate that effect, and all of your Dogmaticas gain 500 attack permanently, but you can only use one effect, each effect once per turn. A free special summon during your opponent's main phase that also negates one of their cards is really good. It's got good stats, but you have to have a Dogmatica monster on the field, which means you have to have Ecclesia on the board already. This is going to be like one of your search targets, especially if you already have Dogmatica Punishment in your hand. These 3 cards are your bread and butter for basically just locking your opponent down. And then Floridus is basically going to be how you win. But is 3,000 attack enough to win? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Fallen of Albaz. If this card is normal or special summon except during the damage step, you can discard 1 card, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your X deck, using monsters on either field as fusion material, including this card, but you cannot use any monsters you control as material. You can only use this effect once per turn. So Fallen of Albaz allows you to fusion summon your Titaniclad using a monster your opponent controls that has 2,500 or more attack. Get Docked On. It is just 3 super polys. Let's go. Oh, Albaz was not limited to 3, so I was wrong. Book of Eclipse was limited to 3. Albaz was not. I apologize, chat. I was correct in saying that that Branded was coming soon. I assumed that Fallen of Albaz would be limited to 3, so you couldn't fusion deployment with it, but apparently you can fusion deployment with it. So let's go. Fusion deployment Branded is going to be a thing. Play Fusion deployment as your limit 3. Special summon your Fallen of Albaz from your deck, and fusion summon immediately. So this means that you can run 7 super polys, 3 fusion deployments, 3 Fallen of Albaz, and then super poly itself. Let's go. Cool. Raging Storm Dragon Beaufort 9, a Wind Dragon ritual monster. You can ritual summon this card with Breath of Acclamation. When your opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can discard this card, negate the attack, and if you do, negate that monster's effects permanently. That's funny. As a quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, return both that monster and this card to the hand. So it's basically like you ritual summon this card so you can bounce it, and then you just get to negate direct attacks. That's a cool effect. What is the fusion? What does the ritual spell do? Let's see. Breath of Acclamation. This card can be used to ritual summon any wind ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total level is exactly equal to the level of the ritual monster. Okay, so the ritual spell doesn't do much of anything. This is lame. I mean, I guess it's like the best place to put this card because they want to give us all cards eventually. But we're not going to play ritual monsters in Speedroids or Wind Witch, so yeah. I guess you could just keep it as a hand trap. Not play the actual ritual card, but like have this card in your hand and then you just keep yourself safe with it. Maybe. We'll see. Lyrilusk Barrel Canary. Maybe play this in Lyrilusk so that you don't die. Huh. I guess that could be an option. Lyrilusk Barrel Canary. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 Lyrilusk monster in your graveyard. Special summon both this card and that monster. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Xyz monsters. You can only use this effect once per turn. A Wind Xyz monster that was summoned on using this card on the field as material gains this effect. The Xyz monster gains 200 attack points. Also, its control cannot switch. Great. Barrel Canary is how you're going to revive your Cobalt Sparrow, and Cobalt Sparrow's effect allows you to add another level 1 Wind Beast monster from your deck to your hand, and also makes it so your opponent cannot target the Xyz monster used as material with card effects. So, this is a very important card. Use it a lot. Okay, next up we have Majestic Crow Yada. So there are more Majestic cards, and they're all rares and lower. When this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Majestic spell card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Excellent. So it's a searcher for Majestic. Majestic Tornado, tribute one wind spellcaster monster, target one monster your opponent controls, and banish it. Not once per turn. There you go. Pretty good. Majestic Toad Ogama. When this card is normal or special summon, you can set one Majestic spell or trap directly from your deck, but it cannot activate this turn. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects or targeted by them. Another really good card. Wind Witch Snowbell. If you control 2 or more wind monsters and no non-wind monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Level 1 tuner. As a wind synchro monster that was synchro summoned using this card as synchro material, cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. That is a lingering effect. It cannot be negated. Your opponent will simply not be able to destroy your monsters. Excellent for your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So make sure that you play it. Lyrilisk Turquoise Warbler. Level 1 winged beast monster. Wind. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can special summon one Lyrilisk monster from your hand or graveyard. So this is your starter, basically. Good card. Time Thief Bezel Ship. Level 4 Dark Machine monster. As a quick effect, you can tribute this card. Target one Time Thief Xyz monster you control. Attach one card from your hand, from your opponent's graveyard to that monster as material. That seems bad. If this card is in the graveyard, you can attach one material from this from an Xyz monster you control, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Ah, okay. So you don't play this card, you mill it. Fair enough. Time Thief Regulator. This is the important one. Level 4 Dark Machine monster. If you control no other monsters, you contribute this card. Special summon 2 Time Thief monsters with different names from your deck in defense position, except Regulator. When an Xyz monster you control is destroyed by battle while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay, so Regulator is your starter. It's a good starter. I can't believe this card is a rare. It's just a free rank 2, or rank 4, but I guess Time Thieves are just so bad that it doesn't matter. Time Thief Startup. Okay, this is the card that you can search with the skill. Quick play spell, special summon one Time Thief monster from your hand. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target one Time Thief Xyz monster you control. Attach 3 Time Thief cards of different types, 1 monster, 1 spell, and 1 trap from your graveyard to that monster as material. You can only use 1 Time Thief Startup effect per turn, only once that turn. That's interesting. So the graveyard effect is pretty good, but I haven't seen another Time Thief spell yet. And you're banishing the Time Thief startup for cost, so you can't use it. And you have to have... It's not up to 3, it's 3. So you can only use Time Thief startup's grave effect if you have another Time Thief spell in your graveyard. Interesting. Okay. Artillery Catapult Turtle. Let's go. This is exciting. Level 4 Water Aqua monster. You contribute 1 monster, special summon 1 Gaia the Fierce Night monster, or 1 level 5 dragon from your hand or deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. That's what I'm talking about. Catapult Turtle has been redeemed. No longer is it a cringe OTK card. Now it just throws Gaias at your opponent, but in a fair way. I love this. This is perfect. I'm going to play this at 3. Dogmatica Theo the Iron Punch. Level 4 spellcaster, 1800 attack, 1500 defense. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summoned from the next deck. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If a monster is special summoned from the next deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Not quick effects, so it's like Ecclesia, not like Floridus. You can target one face-up monster on the field that will special summon from the extra deck until the end of the turn. This card gains 600 attack, and if it does, the targeted monster loses 600 attack. So you can punch extra deck monsters in the face. That's funny. I mean, I guess you'll play this card in Dogmatica for right now, but you probably won't play it later. Dogmatica Aiden the Enlightened. Man, none of the good Dogmatica cards are in this box. There's Nexus. Is Maximus not here? So we don't get Maximus either? Oh, this box is so disappointing for Dogmatica specifically. Alright. Dogmatica Aiden the Enlightened. Level 4 spellcaster, cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special summoned from the next deck. If a monster that was special summoned from the next deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Dogmatica monster from your deck, except Aiden. So you would special summon Ecclesia then. So this just lets you pull out Ecclesia and then use this effect to search. Pretty decent. Spiral Fusion. Fusion summon one Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. If you special summon Gaia the Dragon Champion by this effect, it gains 2600 attack. Also, it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So this is why you play Book of Eclipse. So you Book of Eclipse, you set all your opponent's monsters face down, then you play Spiral Fusion. Of course, if your monsters are face up or face down, they can still be used as fusion material because that's how fusion works. And then you just pierce. So, this is great. Okay, Dogmatica Encounter. Activate one of these effects, special summon one Dogmatica monster or one Fallen of Albaz from your hand, or add to your hand or special summon one Dogmatica monster or Fallen of Albaz from your graveyard. Okay, so there we go. So this is why you would want to play Dogmatica for Albaz and Branded, because it lets you basically revive your Fallen of Albaz and trigger its effect to immediately fuse off one of your opponent's monsters. The main problem you're going to run into is that you, A, are going to run out of cards in your hand because you have to keep discarding, and B, you're going to run out of Titaniclads. But, you know, hopefully 3 Super Polys is enough to keep your opponent down. It's a mess of a deck, but I'm going to have fun playing it, I think. Giga Thunder Gyclops. What? What is this card? It's a Wind Thunder Pendulum monster, and it's a tuner monster. Okay, I guess this is in the box because it's level 4 and it's a pendulum monster. So you can potentially play it in Magispectors? Level 4, Pendulum Scale 5. As its pendulum effect is once per turn, you can target one pendulum monster you control and one monster your opponent controls and change their battle positions. Sure, I guess. If this card, special summon from the extra deck, is used as synchro material, banish it. Fair. If this card is normal summon, you can change its battle position. You can only use this effect once per turn. If the battle position of this card is changed, you can target one face-up spell or trap on the field and destroy it. If this card is destroyed in the... if this... Yeah, no, that's right. If this card is destroyed in the Pendulum Zone, you can return one card from your Pendulum Zone to the hand. I mean... So it's like a Synchro 8, but you also get to pop a face-up spell or trap. Magispectors can do worse, I guess. They don't really do much, so getting a card that can give them extra reach is good. This does give them access to synchros. So yeah, sure, why not? Alright. Curse of Dragon, the Magical Knight Dragon. Oh, we did get another fusion monster, okay. This card is not treated as Gaia the Dragon Champion, though. It's a Curse of Dragon monster. Level 5 Dark Dragon monster. Requires one warrior plus one level 5 or higher dragon. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target one spell or trap in your graveyard that specifically lists the card Gaia the Dragon Champion in its text. Add to your hand. If you would fusion summon a level 7 or higher, a level 7 dragon monster, you can also banish cards from your graveyard as material. Okay, so Spiral Fusion is not a hard once per turn. So you can play Spiral Fusion, you can summon your Curse of Dragon, the Magical Knight of Dragons, which will allow you to return Spiral Fusion from your graveyard to your hand. Then you play Spiral Fusion, and Curse of Dragon, the Magical Knight Dragon, allows you to banish the monsters that were used as material for it the first time from your graveyard to make your Gaia the Dragon Champion. So you basically get your Curse of Dragon for free. That's interesting, you know, 2,000 extra attack could be enough to win the game, so I don't think this is a bad thing. Yeah. I like it. Next up, we have Lyrilisk Promenade Thrush. Rank 1 Wind Xyz monster with requires 2 or more level 1s. Gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, target one spell or trap your opponent controls, and shuffle it into the deck. At the start of the damage step, if another monster you control battles, you can detach any number of materials from this card. That monster you control gains 300 attack for each material detached until the end of the turn. So this was a card that I thought would be necessary for us to OTK with what is her name? Assembled Nightingale. But no longer. We have the Xyz Stormraze skill, so we don't need to worry about it. Next up, we have Lyrilisk Bird Strike. If you control a Lyrilisk monster, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn, once per turn. So it's Dark Ruler no more, but it requires you to have a face-up monster, which means for the Lyrilisk monsters, you probably already activated a monster effect. So your opponent, if they have any negates, would have already used them. But If they don't have negates, if they have like destroy effects or maybe battle phase effects, and this is a good card, you can search this card with your Celestine Wagtail, so I would probably play it at 1, just as an option. Zero Gravity, this is limited to 1, by the way. Zero Gravity, change the battle positions of all face-up monsters on the field. Okay. Dimension Wall, activate only when your opponent's monster declares an attack. Instead of you, your opponent takes the damage you would have taken from this battle. So this is Cheesy Burn. I'm sure this will be halved, and it's limited to 1. Oh, no, you can't have this. I guess that's why it's limited to 1. Okay, sure, cool. So it's Magic Cylinder, but only for direct attacks, and it's not halved, but it's limited to 1. Fair enough. Overworked. Destroy each monster whose attack is higher than its original attack. So, anti-Lyrilusk tech, if you want to deal with Lyrilusks. Magispector Necomata. When this card is normal special summon, you can add one Magispector card from your deck to your hand during the end phase of the turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. Cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And that's fine. Gradle Alligator. Do we have any other Gradle cards in the game? What? There are other Gradle cards in here. Gradle Cobra. What are these Gradle cards randomly doing here? Okay, whatever. If this card in your monster zone is destroyed by battle or spell effect and sent to your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to that target, and while this card is equipped to a monster by this effect, take control of that monster. Sure. Gradle Cobra. If this card is in your monster zone is destroyed by battle or trap effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to that target. While this card is equipped to a monster by this effect, take control of that monster. So if you want to play Gradles, here you go. 2 Gradle monsters. Never mind, there's a third one. Gradle Eagle. If this card in your monster zone is destroyed by battle or monster effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to that target. While this card is equipped to a monster by that effect, take control of that monster. This one at least has 1,500 attack points, so you can kind of survive the battle and then kill your opponent. Gradle Parasite. When your opponent's... Where did all this come from? Why are there just... Is this the whole archetype just sitting in this box? In the low rarity section? Trap card. When your opponent's monster declares direct attack, you can special summon one Gradle monster from your deck in attack position if you control no monsters. It's a continuous trap. Oh my god. Attack me. Attack me. I will take your monster. When a Gradle monster you control declares a direct attack, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon the target to their side of the field if they control no monsters. Oh my god. It lets you force your opponent to have a monster for you to steal if they decide that they're just not going to play anything. That's so toxic. This is the dumbest deck I've ever seen. Okay. Majestic Supercell. This is a continuous trap. That's terrible. Why do you want a continuous trap in a pendulum deck? While you have a Majestic card in your pendulum zone, the activation effects of other Majestic cards activated on your side of the field cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can target 5 Majestic cards in your graveyard, shuffle all 5 into the deck, then draw 1 card. You are playing a pendulum deck. It would be hard enough to target 3 cards in your graveyard, but 5? Where are they coming from? Just spells and traps? I guess. This is bad. Time Thief Hack. Here is our Time Thief spell. Never mind, it's a continuous spell. It's a continuous spell. This isn't going to go to your graveyard. This Time Thief startup is never going to trigger. Okay, whatever. During the turn, there are special summoned Xyz monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target them with card effects. Oh, I might play this in Lyrilusk. You can target one face-up Xyz monster you control. It gains 300 attack for each material currently attached to it until the end of the turn. And if it does, and also has a material that is owned by your opponent, it can attack directly this turn even if this card leaves the field. What? There's no Time Thief requirements. You can literally just play this in Lyrilusk and it just gains attack points. This is why Time Thieves are in this box. You just play this in Lyrilusk. Let's go. You can't search it. You just play it at 3 and just win the game? Huh. I don't think it's necessary because you have Xyz Storm Raids, but that's tempting. You might play this if you decide to play the other Lyrilusk skills for some reason. Time Thief Flyback. Normal trap. Target one Time Thief Xyz monster you control. Attach one Time Thief card from your deck or hand to it as material. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Time Thief exceeds monster you control, attach one card from your opponent's graveyard to it as material. You can only use one effect per turn, only once that turn. Sure. Time Thief Chrono Quarter, Dark Machine. During your opponent's battle phase, as a quick effect, you attribute this card. The next battle damage you take from an opponent's monster's attack this turn is inflicted to your opponent instead. If a face-up exceeds monster you control leaves the field by card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Cool. Sky Striker Maneuver Scissor Cross. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target one level 4 Sky Striker Ace monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, or if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can special summon it instead. So I guess this is important for Rose. It's not really that good for Ray, because Ray just special summons herself by herself, but it might be good if you just draw Rose and you don't have Ray. I mean, you could search any Sky Striker card, so any Sky Striker card could potentially be a one of. Yeah. Time Thief Retrograde. When a spell or trap is activated while you control a Time Thief Exceeds monster, negate the activation. If you do, attach that card to a Time Thief Exceeds monster you control as material. It's a counter trap that steals the spell or trap as material. That's funny. Okay, yeah, that's good. For those of you who are wondering, why do Time Thieves care about stealing their opponent's cards? Redoer is not in the box. Redoer is like locked to behind a skill. We'll go over Redoer as soon as I'm done with these cards. Dogmatic and Nexus, level 11 spellcaster, 3200 attack, 3200 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by its own effect. You can target 4 Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, and or Link monsters in the graveyards, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, banish those cards. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summon monster, destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters, then inflict 400 damage to your opponent for each Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, and Link monster destroyed by this effect. Okay, so I suppose Nexus is how you're going to win the game with Dogmatica. You play it at 1, you search it with Ecclesia when you can summon it, and then you just summon it and you win the game. And until then, you just control the board and stall. That's cute. It's bad. Dogmatica Nation, field spell. Neither player can target Dogmatica monsters you control with the effects of monsters that were special from the extra deck. That's excellent. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. After damage calculation, if your Dogmatica monster battled an opponent's monster, destroy that monster. That's mandatory, by the way, so it's a once per turn. Your opponent can just, like, force it. If this face-up card in the field zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can have each player send one monster from their extra deck to the graveyard. Both of those effects are pretty good, especially if you're going to be relying on Nexus as your win condition. So while Dogmatica Nation is not a card that you would play in a regular Dogmatica deck, in this terrible Dogmatica deck, play it. Spiral Discharge, Continuous Trap. While Gaia the Dragon Champion is in your monster zone, your opponent's monsters can only target Gaia the Dragon Champion for attacks. When an attack is declared involving your Gaia the Dragon Champion, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. You can only use this effect of Spiral Discharge once per turn. That's cute, but it's a continuous trap, so it's bad. Spiral Reborn. Target one level 7 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it. If you special summon Gaia the Dragon Champion by this effect, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by their card effects permanently as a lingering effect. That's insane! Let's go! Can you search this? Yes, you can search this. I'm going to play this at 1. I don't care. I'm playing this at 1. I'm going to get this with my Cursed Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. It's going to be good. Windwitch Blizzard Bell, level 5 spellcaster tuner. If you control no tuners or all monsters you control are Windwitch monsters, if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Windwitch monsters, you can normal summon this card without tributing. That's terrible. Do not do that. During your opponent's main phase, if you control a Windwitch monster other than Blizzard Bell, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to burn your opponent for 500. So that will be to trigger your Diamond Bell so you can pop cards. Good enough. Icy Breeze Refrain. Normal's trap. Activate one of the following effects. Target a Windwitch monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your Windwitch monster's effect activation, negate that opponent's effect. That's pretty solid, so it can't work on counter traps, but otherwise pretty good. Just negate card effects. Yeah, that's fine. It's not searchable. You can play it at 3, I guess, in Windwitch, but you'll probably not have space with all the speed word cards you're going to be playing. If you play pure Windwitch, it's fine. Time Thief Adjuster, level 4 Dark Psychic. Is that the only other Dark Psychic? I was looking for the Psychics. So we got Winder. and then these are all machines. The skill, I think, says that it's only if you have psychic monsters. Reveal one Time Thief psychic monster or one Time Thief startup in your hand. Then add one Time Thief machine monster or one Time Thief startup from your deck to your hand. Okay. So, you have to play these psychics. And one of them is so bad that it's down here. That's not good. What does this do? If you normal or special summon a Time Thief monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Time Thief card from your deck to the graveyard except Adjuster. Oh, that's not too bad. That card's fine. Why is this card a neutral rarity? You can just mill one of your machine monsters, and then you special summon it from your graveyard because you control an Xyz monster. And this card's great. Yeah, play this at 3. This is fine. Monster Assortment. Trap card, reveal one normal monster from your deck and one effect monster from your deck with the same type, attribute, and level. Then your opponent randomly chooses one of them for you to add to your hand and shuffle the other into your deck. Ah! Blue Eyes supports! Why did I mean, Blue Eyes supports... I guess you could... Actually, no, wait, hold on. You play this in Gaia, actually, because you're going to play Dark Magician. Huh. Yeah, because you have to play Dark Magician for this fusion monster, so... It lets you basically, like, get your Gaia the Fierce Knight card. Interesting. I don't think you would ever be desperate enough to play this in Gaia. Gaia has a field, has a, skill. So, I think you're... Oh, wait, no. The skill prevents you from summoning Dark Magician. Oh, but there's a new skill, right? Yeah, there's a new skill. What does this do? You can only use the skill second and third effects once per duel. You cannot normal or special summon any monsters except for spellcasters or warriors with 2100 defense, level 5 dragons, and aqua monsters with 2000 defense. That's funny. During your main phase, play one artillery catapult turtle from your hand or deck to the field. Nice! It just literally like lets you play catapult turtle. That's so good. If your opponent controls more cards than you do, add one polymerization from outside your deck and play one Dark Magician from outside your deck to the field. Oh, you don't even need to play Dark Magician. Okay, never mind. Dark Magician isn't even in the deck. Okay, so yeah, then never mind. Don't play this. Lyreless, Celestine, Wagtail. You can play this in Blue Eyes. You can add either your Blue Eyes or your Dragon Spirit of White here. Lyreless, Celestine, Wagtail. If this card is special summon, you can add one Lyreless spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Lyreless Xyz monster you control and attach it to material. Okay, so this is really good. You just attach it directly as material, and it gives you extra attack points. Lyreless Bird Sanctuary. You can target 2 winged beast Xyz monsters you control, attach one of those monsters to the other's material. If you control an Xyz monster with 3 or more materials, you can draw 1 card. Both those effects are once per turn. That's a good card. Lyreless Phantom Feathers. Trap card, target one Lyreless monster you control. The attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls become that monster's current attacks. Also, their levels and ranks become 1 permanently. When your opponent's monster declares an attack on your Lyreless monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Your monster's attack becomes that monster's attack until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. It's cute. Bad. Outstanding Dog Mary, level 1 Light Beast monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can activate one of these effects. Either place this card from on the bottom of your deck or add one Outstanding Dog Moran from your deck to your hand, and if you do, place this card on the top of your deck. Aww! Mary and Moran working together to Xyz summon. I don't know what, but that's funny. And then lastly, Red Arrows. Target up to 2 face-up monsters in the extra monster zone. Banish them until the end phase. Cool. Anti-extra link card. That's funny. Alright. Leaked cards. So we got Recital Starling, Assemble Nightingale, Cobalt Sparrow, Winter Bell, Diamond Bell, and Freeze Bell revealed as probably level up cards for Rin and Lulu. Recital Starling lets you search. This card is insane. It's a soft once, and it hasn't been revealed to be limited. You would probably play this at 2. Assemble Nightingale. You can play this at 2, and then you can use it to make Utopic Draco feature whenever we get it. Assemble Nightingale. 2 or more level 1s. This card gains 200 attack for each material attached to it. It can attack directly. While this card has Xyz material, it can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of Xyz materials attached to it. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 material from this card until the end of this turn. Xyz monsters, liarless monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, and you take no battle damage. You will detach your Celestine Wagtail if you have to do this on your opponent's turn, so you can immediately attach it back on your turn and kill your opponent. What you want to do is you play Xyz Storm Rays. Once per turn during your main phase, choose one face-up monster you control. It gains 300 attack until the end of the turn, and it gains enough additional 500 attack if you have a wind monster or an Xyz monster. So this gives your Assemble Nightingale 800 extra attack points. If it has 3 materials, then it will have 600 attack points normally, and then it can attack 3 times directly. So that will mean it will have 1400 attack points. 1400 times 3 is 4200. There you go. There's your lethal. Cobalt Sparrow, if this card is a special summon, you can add one Wind Beast monster. I've talked about this card like 3 times already. Winter Bell, level 7, you can target one Wind Witch monster in your graveyard, burn your opponent equal to its level times 200. During the battle phase, you can target one Wind Witch monster you control, special summon one monster from your hand with a level less than or equal to that monster, but it cannot attack this turn. You don't want to do that. Diamond Bell, if this card is Synchro Summon, you can target one Wind Witch monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its attack points. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once per turn, if your opponent takes battle damage or effect damage, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. And if you control this card that was Synchro Summoned using only Wind Witch monsters as material, you can use this effect up to twice per turn. Cool. And then lastly, Freeze Bell. If all monsters you control are Wind Witch monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can increase this card's level by 1, and a Wind Synchro monster that was special summoned using this card as material cannot be destroyed by battle permanently. All good cards. Okay, so that is the deck. I'll probably go over the skills in a different video because this video is an hour long. My name is Sarafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.